when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback in the 2019 season, who are going to be the Buffalo Bills defensive ends. Welcome to Believe Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome as we continue to discuss the 2019 Buffalo Bills roster, breaking down the 90-man roster and trying to figure out how we're going to cut this down to 53 guys by August 31st. Again, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know who you think is going to make it as on the roster for the Buffalo Bills at the defensive end position. Now, going back to the 2018 roster, I will tell you that we had five defensive ends going into the 2018 season. Talking about Gerry Hughes, Shaq Lawson, Yarbrough, Love, and Murphy, of course, were our five there. So what is going to happen in 2019? Are we going to have those same five guys coming into the 2019 season, all a part of the 53-man roster? Currently on our roster, those are the only five guys that we have for the defensive end position. So you're looking at all five of them saying, can we have a repeat of the 2018 season? Like I said, in 2018 we did keep five. Will we do that again this season? Or now that we have Ed Oliver, a guy that can play multiple positions online, will we stick to four? Remember, in my wide receiver episode, I said we're going to keep one extra wide receiver, which means in order to make the 53-man roster, we have to be able to cut someone somewhere. Is defensive end where we do it? I'll let you know what I think at the end of this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. What do you think about the defensive end position? First, we're going to get into the contracts of these five individuals, let you know who is available to be cut. Again, you don't want to cut someone whose dead cap money really will restrict you for the rest of the season. We saw that before. We don't want to get into that situation again. Brandon Beane and the staff there did a good job making sure that we got rid of as much dead cap money as we could, and they don't want to get back into that habit of getting into a lot of dead cap money situations. So I believe that salary goes a long way into telling us who is going to stay on the 53-man roster, and then it's about gut feeling, right? Some of these guys were just re-signed in 2019 or signed to or extensions as well, so it kind of goes with gut feeling sometimes too, who will stay, who will go. I will say that in 2018 the Bills defensive ends had 15 sacks total, right? All five of them put together 15 sacks. J.J. Watt 16, okay? So this is definitely, even though we have the number 2 defense in the NFL, this is definitely a position that you want to see step up coming in 2019. Get more sacks on the quarterback. We have Starla Toure, and now we had Ed Oliver on the inside, hopefully drawing some double teams. We talked about that defensive tackle position. Hopefully this opens up for that end position to get some more sacks. We're talking about Gerry Hughes, hopefully get more sacks this season, maybe even Shaq Lawson. So we'll talk about salary, we'll talk about each player a little bit, and then I'll let you know who I think we are going to keep as far as defensive ends go. So first we're going to talk about Gerry Hughes. Gerry Hughes, of course, did make the most out of anybody this season at the defensive end position. And remember, he was just re-signed not too long, or to an extension, I should say, just earlier this year. So this actually makes him the highest paid defensive player on the Buffalo Bills. In my last episode, I said it was Starla Toure. It's not. It's Gerry Hughes because of that extension they signed. Gerry Hughes this season is due to make $12.95 million. That number almost doubles, goes up to $23.65 million if we were to cut him due to dead cap situation. So that is one of the main reasons I see Gerry Hughes definitely sticking around at the defensive end position. He's definitely probably secured his spot unless there's some sort of legal issues or something like that pop up, which I would love to say there's no way that's going to happen, but we know, we've seen things before. It could happen, but hopefully Gerry Hughes is here to stay. I don't see any issues coming up in the future, and he'll be here come the 2019 NFL season. Then you look at Trent Murphy. Of course, we signed Trent Murphy at the beginning of the 2018 season, formerly of the Washington Redskins. Signed him for $8.7 million. 6.5 of that would be dead cap money if we were to come before the season starts. So again, you look at that money and you say, wow, that's a lot to give up in one season for someone who would not be on your team. Shaq Lawson, of course, the last year of his 4-year rookie deal. We all know he did not sign that contract extension, so you're talking about $3.27 million guaranteed to him this season no matter what. It would be dead cap, or it could be what he makes if we keep him on that 53-man roster. Then you look at Yarborough, $645K, and then also Mike Love, $570K, due to them respectively. Neither of them would see a cent of that if we were to cut them. There's no dead cap money involved with either of those two players, which might come into effect if there is a decision whether to keep 4 or 5 defensive ends. So talk about Gerry Hughes. In 2018, Gerry Hughes had 7 sacks, obviously leads the defensive ends in the sack category. A really good year for Gerry Hughes. Gerry Hughes was from Texas Christian University, TCU. That's where he went to college. Was drafted in the first round of the 2010 draft, 31st overall by the Indianapolis Colts. In 2013, the Colts trade Gerry Hughes to the Buffalo Bills for linebacker Kelvin Shepard, and then on May 21st of this year, Gerry Hughes signs a 2-year extension, again making him the highest paid Buffalo Bills player. Some things about Gerry Hughes, again, during the Rex Ryan years, you kind of saw his numbers deplete a little bit when he was with Jim Schwartz. When Jim Schwartz was here, when he first came on to Buffalo, had a couple back-to-back double-digit sack seasons, right? And so we were really excited about what he could do. Rex Ryan comes in, changes it from a 4-3 to a 3-4. He has a hard time. We did talk about this in another episode about Gerry Hughes when he did sign his contract extension originally, so you can definitely go back to that video. But he had a hard time with the Rex Ryan 3-4 defense. And then he comes back. We get Leslie Frazier in there, we get Sean McDermott, head coach, go back to a 4-3, and now we see that production beginning to creep back up, right? Again, 7 sacks last season. Hopefully he continues on that trajectory this season. I definitely see Shaq Lawson staying on the 53-man roster. Going on Shaq Lawson, you have Shaq Lawson 2018 had 4 sacks. Again, we don't sign his contract, 5th-year option on his contract since he was a first-round draft pick. Went to Clemson, was drafted in 2016 by the Buffalo Bills, 19th overall. And again, if you're a first-round pick, you have that 5th-year option, team option for the team. We declined that. And that, a lot of people say, oh, that could be bad for a player. I think that also could be good for a player, right? And that's not to say we're not going to sign Gerry Hughes after the season, right? So Gerry Hughes now is set up to make more money next year, right? Instead of having that 5th-year option, he has a great season this year, right? If he steps up and plays out, and let's say he gets 7 sacks, 8 sacks, maybe dumps into the double-digit sack category, all of a sudden you're talking about a huge contract possibly for this guy, a young guy in the right system who can play well. Now, I'm not saying the Bills will be that team, but he could sign with the team, get some good money, and that's because he doesn't sign that 5th-year option. Now, of course, there is that whole, well, obviously you don't trust me too much if you're not willing to give me the contract extension, and there's a point to that. There's a point to saying, hey, this is your last year of your rookie deal. This is a make it or break it type season for you. So Shaq Lawson can either step up, or maybe he degresses, and then we actually look smart for not having that 5th-year option. So Shaq Lawson, I do see making the 2019 Buffalo Bills 53-man roster. We'll see what happens beyond that point. You have Eddie Yarborough, 2018. He had 29 tackles, 0 sacks. Eddie Yarborough was originally from Wyoming University, so he shared a field with Josh Allen for a little bit. In 2016, he was undrafted, signed with the Denver Broncos as an undrafted free agent, was released before the start of the season. In 2017, the Buffalo Bills pick him up, and then he has 1 sack, plays in a few games for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills signed him to another 1-year extension, or re-signed him to another 1-year deal last season. And last season, he has 29 tackles, no sacks, and again, low numbers as far as salary cap. Like I said, $645,000 for him, none of that dead cap money. Mike Love was an undrafted free agent in 2018, just last season, was undrafted and signed by the Buffalo Bills. He was put on the Buffalo Bills practice squad and then called up in December of 2018, played in 3 games for us, had 5 tackles. So we are beginning to see a little more production on Mike Love. Mike Love was looking good in OTAs. We could actually say opposite about Eddie Yarborough in OTAs and in mandatory minicamp, not looking that great. Then, of course, you go to Trent Murphy. Trent Murphy in 2018 started in 10 games, played in 13, had 4 sacks. went to Stanford, was drafted in 2014 second round by the Washington Redskins on March 14th, 2018. So just last season, he signed a 3-year, $22.5 million deal with the Buffalo Bills. Now you have to go back to 2017 to really talk about Trent Murphy. In 2017, if you remember, Trent Murphy actually suffered a season-ending ACL injury early in the year, missed the whole season of 2017. And we all know how those ACL injuries can linger for another year or two. You know, we talk about that in basketball, with basketball season just ending here. And it can happen in football too. So a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, a lot of experts are thinking that Trent Murphy might have a breakout year. I could see why they think that. To me, it's really between Trent Murphy and Shaq Lawson, right? If Shaq Lawson has a breakout year, well, that means you might not see Trent Murphy on the field as much, right? If Trent Murphy has a breakout year, well, same thing could happen with Shaq Lawson. So we'll see what happens there with Trent Murphy at the defensive end position. But those are the 5 defensive ends that we currently have on the 90-man roster. Now, like I said in the wide receiver video, I have us keeping 8 wide receivers instead of 7, which means we have to drop another player, make a tough cut. And I think this is the position where it happens. Again, I don't see why we need to keep 5 defensive ends. We have 4 defensive tackles, one of which can be moved to defensive end if need to in Ed Oliver. Maybe you don't want to do that since he's a rookie. You don't want to confuse him too much, but it can happen, right? So why not keep 4 and then have that extra position for the wide receiver, which we already named earlier in my previous offensive episode. So my 4 that we are going to keep, obviously, like I said, Gerry Hughes, Shaq Lawson, Trent Murphy. I see us keeping those 3. Salary implications and just productivity on the field means we have to keep them, right? So I look at Mike Love, I look at Eddie Yarborough, I say, which one of those 2 guys do I want to keep? Which one of those 2 guys do I want to release? Again, neither one of them are due any dead cap money, so that's good news for the Buffalo Bills. And right now, as of today, I would say that Mike Love is beating out Eddie Yarborough for that 4th and final, in my opinion, final defensive end spot. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. How many defensive ends do you think we're keeping? Are we keeping 5? Are we keeping 4? And, you know, even some of these outside linebackers we have, which we'll get into that in the outside linebacker episode, they could maybe come down to defensive end as well. Might help out a little bit and might be able to have us only keep 4 defensive ends instead of 5 like we did last season. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Again, we're going position by position, letting you know who I think is going to make the 2019 53-man roster for the Buffalo Bills. And again, next episode, we're going to talk about the linebackers. We did the offense already, and we're going to keep you up to date on all Buffalo Bills breaking news and all Buffalo sports. So again, hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the defensive end position. I will talk to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.